Chapter 10 has released in Arknights China, and I thought I would make a quick video going over the patch notes. This will be releasing in Arknights Global in about 6 months, but still, it's good to be aware, just so you know what's coming. Perhaps this might affect your plans, and there's also some exciting news and a few great things to look at. These patch notes come translated courtesy of PRTS and the Rhode Island HQ. So we start with a look at Heidi's stats and skills. So Heidi is the welfare operator of this event. So it's the first time since Armia plus the robots that we've had a welfare story operator. And she's a bard in the style of Corrupt Skadi / Sora. And she's looking pretty good, actually, especially for a welfare operator. So her first skill, when activated, reduce block counter for all allies within attack range by 3. Now we knew that there was going to be a block count reduction, and we'd assumed it'd be just 1 block count, but instead it's a block count reduction of 3, so most operators will have 0 block at that point. However, it grants up to 110% of her attack as an Inspire effect, which is quite good. Now her attack isn't that high. At maximum you got 332, well 360 at E2 maximum with full trust, full potential. So it's not that much, but it's still pretty decent, especially for a welfare operator, and for those who don't have Corrupt Skadi. And skill 2 is pretty much the opposite. It increases block count by 1 and grants up to 70% defense and up to 30% max HP, and it also boosts her passive healing talent of allies. That's pretty good. Next we've got Chestnut, the Wandering Medic. So the Wandering Medics are the elemental healers. First 4-star we've had in a while, first 4-star elemental healer. So elemental healers, for those who don't know, they focus on healing that secondary kind of damage. You know, the Undertide's sanity damage, the fire damage from Chapter 9, the Desolus Holiday Corrosion. Very useful to have against those. However, for regular healing, they are weaker than your standard healer. Skill 1 is just a burst heal, and then skill 2, it sounds a little bit like a shorter range Susuro but for elemental healing. Pretty good in certain situations. Then we've got Rock, the 5-star Dronecaster. This Dronecaster is focused all on big attack, and the attack is looking to be quite good once the skills are activated. However, comparing to the likes of Click or Kiara, who both have CC, stun and freeze / chill respectively, I don't know if it's that useful. You know, could be alright. And also Click's a 4-star, Kiara's a free unit, so I don't know if there's much incentive to build Rock. Also, it's still a bit of a funny name. Then we come to the new 6-star defender, Horn, a fortress defender. Now Horn is looking to be much better than first anticipated, because her numbers are massive. In the teaser for this unit, and as the teaser for all operators, they tell you what the skills and the talents do, except for talent number 2, what they do, but they don't give you the numbers. So sometimes something sounds really impressive and then the numbers come out and you realize, oh, wait, yes, it attacks 1,000,000 times a second, but it hits for 1 damage each hit. It doesn't really do much. Whereas in the case over here, fully maxed out, she'll have over 1,000 attack, which is very high. The Fortress Defender archetype has more attack than your typical defender, so it's a very high amount of attack. However, you look at that first passive that she's got, plus 20% attack to all defenders. That is huge. If you are a fan of, you know, Mudrock, especially Mudrock plus the Blemishine combo, Unectes, all that, Horn is pretty much a must pull, just for that passive alone. Plus 20% is huge. However, you add in all of her other skills, and that pushes her up the charts as well for for people who need her outside of that defender boosting passive. So her second talent is a cheat death mechanic, similar to Blaze. However, when she cheats death, she halves her maximum HP, but in exchange, she gains a boost of attack speed and defense. So she's now going to be even more dangerous on the offense. However, it does make her easier to kill the second time. Skill 1 is just your simple low SP cost, fire off automatic activation. However, it's got a secondary effect of revealing invisible units, which can be extremely useful. There's not many units that can reveal invisible, and that's a very nice one to have. You're not going to use this very much, but for those situations where you are up against invisible units, to me that seems pretty cool. Skill 2 is a big splash with an ammunition system. However, you can choose to instantly end the skill and fire all remaining shots at once for a big amount of damage. And remember, she's got a huge attack, so it's going to be hitting quite hard, especially dumping everything in one go. And then skill 3 is it's a little similar to Fiammetta. She's channeling Fiammetta over here, constantly firing with a boosted attack. However, she loses HP. You can obviously deactivate the skill at any time. Now, outside of the new operators, we've got new operator records, new paradox simulations, CN voices, nothing of particular note. We've got the modules. We'll get to the modules in a second because I quickly want to mention a couple of other things first. Recruitment has been updated. Addition of Utage, Sessa, and Bagpipe. 1-4, 1-5, 1-6 star. None of these have any unique combinations. Utage is yet another survival guard. Sessa shares tags with Meteorite, and Bagpipe shares tags with Siege. So there's no guarantee of getting them, but it's always nice, especially that Bagpipe there. You really want to try and get, if you care about high-end content, you really want to try and get potential 5 Bagpipe. They've also added a new difficulty scaling system for Chapter 10 and retroactively added it to Chapter 9. I'll make a separate video going into more detail about this, but the short version is it adds an easy mode to the story chapters. The easy mode has a first clear reward, costs no sanity, and you can actually progress to the end of the story just doing the easy mode clears. It is an option there for newer players or players who are struggling and just want to get through the story. Another nice nifty quality of life feature, you'll have the ability to use 10 single head hunting tickets at once. There's a few minor bug fixes, nothing of particular note. What most people are interested in seeing in these patch notes, because before the patch notes, we pretty much know everything that's in the patch. However, we don't have the details for the modules, and the modules do affect many beloved characters, so people are usually most interested in these when it comes to the patch notes. So this patch, we have the Decil Binders, basically your slow supporters, and the heavy shooters. You know, those shorter range, hard-hitting snipers like Schwartz, getting modules. So we'll start with the slow supporters. We've got 2 different types of modules. For Earth Spirit, Istina, Angelina, these ones are all about boosting that slow. So their slow goes from 0.8 seconds duration to 1.2 seconds duration. That's really nice. Now, Earth Spirit is still a pretty garbage unit. However, it does give her a sort of niche where you can get near permanent slow with her skill active. However, she doesn't hit for any damage. Also, the stat boost is HP and defense, which does not make her any stronger. Istina's an okay unit, and her stat boost is decent. Angelina gets a bit of better stat boost. However, the other supporter module is fantastic. We've got Podenko, Galakis, and Suzerain getting the module that gives plus 0.2 per second SP charge as long as an enemy is in range. And keep in mind with Suzerain, she already has a passive that boosts supporters' passive SP charge. So they'll be charging their skills even faster, particularly for Suzerain on skill 3, or when you're charging up that skill 2. This makes quite a difference. Also, their stat Podenko has HP and attack, as good as you can expect for a 4-star. Galakis, a bit more HP, a bit more attack, and then Suzu has even more HP, has attack speed instead. Very, very nice modules for particular slow supporters. Coming to the heavy shooters, we have a reduction in deployment time of 25 seconds. The stats for Acid Drop, defense and attack speed, that's okay. Provence, attack and defense, that's okay. Schwartz, fair amount of HP and quite a lot of attack, making a very deadly unit even deadlier. Now, these modules may not seem that impressive, and for Provence and Acid Drop, they aren't really. They're not that useful. For Schwartz, you may have thought, oh, they'll probably just give her increased damage or maybe some more armor piercing or something like that. However, for someone like Schwartz, she already does quite a lot of damage For the most part, she can assassinate her targets. Now the module does add a little bit of inherent attack. That redeployment reduction does mean that you can get her to assassinate multiple targets in a map. Don't follow the same path. So you may deploy her to kill one particular enemy in one lane, then retreat her, and then redeploy her in another lane to kill another particularly dangerous enemy. That can be very useful. With the module plus a potential 3, I believe, her redeployment time will be something like 41 seconds. That's pretty damn good. You know, it's not fast redeployment times, but 41 seconds. In a map, that means you can get 2 or 3 key kills in 3 different locations across the map. And that's very useful. That's a little bit niche because you won't need it that often, but when it does come into play, she could essentially do the job of 2 operators in dealing with some key targets. So I do quite like that. I find it's an interesting one, and while obviously more damage, more attack is always nice, I do find this one a bit more interesting for her. For the 5 and the 4, it's okay. You know, they're not as deadly as her. They aren't going to be jumping around the map, annihilating particularly powerful targets, but, you know, it's not bad. Of course, this brings us to the ongoing saga of favoritism with modules, where the better the operator already is, the better their module will be. For those who aren't aware, AoE casters that were most desperately in need of powerful modules got some really weak ones. For half the AoE casters, it was a 1-cell extension on their attack range, bringing them in line with the attack range of a single target caster, and the others just got a deployment cost reduction, bringing them in line with single target casters. Neither of which addressed the problems that they had. And now here we see great modules for Suzerain in particular, who's already an excellent operator. I mean, at some point, you gotta say enough is enough. I mean, they really just can't keep getting away with this. They can't keep getting away with this. Sometimes it really feels like they hate particular classes compared to others, because those AoE casters, they just keep getting shafted. But yes, at least it is good to see some nice modules, even if they weren't particularly, if they weren't desperately needed by these operators. So that's it for the patch notes. Before I go, I will leave you with the new operator theme for Horn. If you haven't heard it yet, it's an absolutely awesome song. Also, quick note, as of this video going live, I'll be streaming on Twitch 17-18 hours from now. Do check out the YouTube community posts or the Discord. Links in the description below if you need to access those. I'll be streaming both Pinus Sylvestris and Chapter 10 for Global and CN, as well as doing some Fartooth pulls of my own and some viewer pulls if you are interested. Would love to have you drop by. That's it for this evening. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and enjoy Horn's operator theme, which is absolutely fantastic. See you next one. Bye.
watching.